Hey guys, I wanted to show you my heugelculture raised bed. It is finally filled and planted. I bought most of the plants at Walmart, and most of them are hybrids. And you know you need the heirlooms to save seed, but I'm not really worried too much about saving the seed off of these this year. If they have seed, they have seed, which I'm sure they will, but anything that I'm going to save seed off of will be in a different spot. But I wanted to show you the bed. Okay, this bed is on the left side 3 foot tall, and on the right side about 2.5-ish. Yeah, about 2.5, maybe just a hair taller. But it's sank down in the ground a little bit because I'm digging out all this topsoil so that I can put it in the bed, because I don't have a lot, and it's mostly sand. It's sandy loam, heavy, heavy, heavy on the sand. So this is compost that I sifted with a 1/2-inch hardware cloth to get out all the big pieces. There's still some smaller pieces, but that's okay too. These garlic, at least I think they're garlic, I transplanted from a bed over there. I had planted them last spring, and they kind of died off. The onions too. So I thought, well, heck, and I just left them, and I just didn't replant that bed because I was busy and doing other things. And I was gone for a month, the whole month of March. And when I came back, I had brought back more asparagus to plant where I had had those onions, because on the other side of that little 4-square raised bed is asparagus. So I was going to plant the whole thing in asparagus. But the onions and the garlic sprouted while I was gone and grew up. So I thought, well, I didn't really want to just pull them up and waste them. And I was watching some videos on companion planting and intercropping and stuff like that. And I decided, well, since pests seem to not like garlic as much, that maybe I could put them in here and help keep pests away from the tomatoes and peppers. And if they die, they die. I transplanted them just a little while ago. I took a trowel and I dug up a root ball on each one, and a big old fat handful of dirt that was around the roots on each one of these. If they die, they die. If they don't, well, that's great too. But let me tell you what I got in here. First of all, I got some sweet basil right here in the corner. And I really like that, to cook that with pork. Then I've got 1, 2, 3. These are 3 banana peppers here. These 2 are bell peppers. Now, this is something you need to know. Both of these plants were in one pot at Walmart. I separated them out. And I got 2 plants for the price of 1. Now, these 2 here are eggplants, because I really like eggplant. And my son doesn't. He doesn't. He thinks he doesn't. He's never actually tried it. I've never cooked it for him. And then I've got a bell pepper over there. And then I'm not sure what this one is. I think this one's another banana pepper, but somehow or another, the little tag got lost. I don't remember what it was. So it'll just be what it'll be. Now, this raised bed, or before I get to that, I'll show you the others. I got sage right there. I've got mint and an aloe vera. And then over here, I've got straight neck squash, watermelon, and cantaloupe. Okay. These I'll be separating out. There's 3 plants in that one and 2 in that one. I'm going to try to separate them out, but squash don't like the roots mess with too much, so I don't know if I'll get away with that. If I don't, I don't. But I wanted to get something in and growing because of the coming food shortages, so I went ahead and bought some plants. I'm going to do the 3 sisters. I got some corn, and I'm going to plant barlotti. They're like a speckled red and white bean. Barlotti beans. I've heard they were really good. I don't know for sure, but the corn I'm planting is dent corn, and I know everybody says, why don't you plant sweet corn? Well, because we don't eat a lot of corn on the cob and stuff, but I have a lot of animals. And so I figured the corn can be used to feed them. And you can still eat dent corn off the cob if you just harvest it in the milk stage. But now back to this bed. This bed, it took me forever to fill this thing up. I mean, I put leaves and twigs and boards and limbs and on and on and on. And I did it in layers, right? I put in a layer and I'd wet it down. I'd put in another layer and I'd wet it down. There's like 6 layers in here. And then I put a big thick layer of rabbit poop. Okay, and then I was going to go over the top of that with my sand, dirt, sifted compost, and rabbit mixed all together, right? Rabbit poop. Well, after it'd been in there for a little while, because I got busy for a couple of days, I came back and it had settled like 6 inches. And I'm like, well, because I had been building this thing since March 1st, and it has settled and settled and settled and settled. This thing has settled, I don't know how many times, and I keep filling it up and it keeps settling. But this last time I filled it all the way up to the very brim. As a matter of fact, it was just a little bit taller than the brim. And you see, I had rain all day yesterday and the night before last. You see how much it's settled since then, right? But it'll have to just be that way until I harvest what's in there, because I'm not filling it anymore this year. The plants are tall enough to get to the sun, so that's good. Anyway, this stuff here I put mostly leaves and twigs and stuff, and let me pan you around here real slowly. Ignore the trash. I got most of it picked up. You see how thick this is? This is all the stuff that's been going in these beds. All these limbs and twigs and stuff. And a couple of little sections of rotted tree. Not the good stuff like this. This I'm cutting up for firewood. And most of that'll get cut up for firewood. And that'll get cut up for firewood. And these trees will be cut down. This hickory tree is going to be cut down. That cedar tree is going to be cut down. But I'm leaving that big tree in the background. And I'm leaving this big tree right here. And that big tree behind it. And then you see I've got some fruit trees. And then I got some volunteer little twigs coming up. I got to cut those down. So we're working on it. Yeah, this thing's been a project. And I'm crippled up. I can't work for very long at one time. Okay. If I get an hour or two in with plenty of breaks, I'm doing good. So it takes me a long time. Now this is Beef Master tomatoes right here. I planted seeds here and seeds here. And then I bought this tomato. It's a Better Boy hybrid. And then this one is a Big Beef hybrid. And yes, I know that means I'm not going to be able to save seeds off of any of these tomatoes, but that's okay too. I figured, what the heck? They didn't have much. That's just it. At Walmart, they were wiped out. And these were really sad looking plants. They were wilty looking and dry and stressed. And I watered them right there in Walmart and then waited for an hour before I took them to see if any of them going to perk up at all. And they started to perk up a little, so I did. Now these I planted real deep. These were twice as tall, pretty handy. Pulled all the lower limbs off and planted it super deep. Now one thing about this bed, I'm not sure if it's going to help or not, or if it's going to hurt the plants, is this bed heated up like a hot compost bed. Okay, because when I dug down in here, it was really warm. I'm guessing at least 130, maybe 140. It was almost too warm to touch there. But I planted them anyway, and I watered them real good. And that night we started getting rain, and it rained night before last and all day yesterday and part of last night. So I'm hoping it cooled this bed down a little bit. Of course, it may heat back up. I don't know. But that's my first heugelculture raised bed. It's freestanding. I don't have these posts in the ground. And I'm going to be putting on this side and on the far side, I'll be putting a T-post in the middle to keep it from bulging. I had actually, when I layered it, I used some old fence boards that I had. 1x6 fence boards that I had left over from a project to layer it long ways to try to keep it from bowing out as much. And so far it seems like it's doing a pretty good job. I brought my 2-pound sledge out here to see about hammering in some T-posts right there to reinforce the sides a little bit so they don't, buckle out. And hopefully I'll get that done before they do that. But this is my raised bed, guys. Oh, let me walk you over here real quick. This is the beds that I transplanted the garlic out of. One of these beds was garlic, and the other one was onion. And I'm going to try to take all these and transplant them into some containers so that maybe they'll survive, maybe they won't. I don't know. We'll see. They were little onion bulbets that I got. And then here's my asparagus that I planted last year. I'm going to probably take compost and put a heavy layer of thick mulch of compost on there. I've got a bunch over there. I just need to sift it. Well, I don't have to sift it for these guys. I can just put it on there straight. But any compost I put in this side will be sifted so that nothing blocks the asparagus from pushing up through the soil. And then there's my poor sad scarecrow. He fell down. He scared my son. Oh my God, it was funny. I'd planted that thing. Somebody had thrown it away, and it looked a lot better when I got it. Somebody had thrown it away. They used it for a Halloween decoration, and so I stuck it in the garden bed, right? My son walked out here to feed, and I heard him yell at the top of his lungs. He got so mad. He thought somebody was back there, scared the crap out of him, because he walked around there, wasn't expecting it. Oh, that was so funny. I laughed till I cried. So, oh, we got some termites flying around. But anyway, y'all hit the thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment, all that kind of good stuff, and y'all come back to see me.